We're going to have plenty of workers out now, actually. We're ahead of our luxuries. We're going to get this worker out soon. We probably do need another worker, and then we're going to get started on the granary to grow our cap. Again, we don't have to worry too much about growing until we finish tradition. We'll move out to help support against taking out these barbs. We'll take a shot there now. We killed that and we heal. We absolutely need to do that. We're going to get to work on the barb camp up north for now, and we're going to do the same with this warrior. We don't have to worry about protecting down here because it's going to take ages for barbs to come through. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But we'll deal with that if it comes. That's Korea. Hello, Korea. Okay, well, okay, they're our neighbours. I mean, Czech can declare war on him all day, I guess. Right. So we brought down this worker. It was like 12 turns. It's now 8. That's great. Now we'll go get our marble online. Yeah, we're not at risk here. Gonna move this archer up. I am a little bit worried about barbs coming through here, so actually I will keep my warrior down. One archer can at least handle these for now, even if they don't take it out. No, that's bothersome. Okay. I don't think there's going to be another AI up there, so we'll just keep moving down now. We get a big spot on Seoul before we move on, and we're going to just start chopping more forest around New York. Before then moving, probably this worker is going to move straight down to Boston. I could take an embassy here. I think gold would be quite nice. We might want to buy some tiles. Let's take the gold. 1 GPT, not so much for us, but 29 gold is a lot better for us. Wow. Okay, 2 hand axes. Yeah, it's going to be a long time before we'd be able to clear that camp anyway, so I'm not worried about not sending the warrior there. And it's good now that the barbarians, they want to move towards either us or Jerusalem here, because it gives us more of an opportunity to take the camp out. We don't care if the barbarian stands on our tiles in Boston yet. Although we have grown in Boston now. We've got 1 turn until we're going to get that iron, so we might as well wait for that. In fact, I'll probably just buy these bananas. We've got the gold, that's what we allowed Theodora to have our embassy for that, so we might as well use it. We'll buy the bananas, we're in America after all. I'm going to keep the scout here, there's no point in... I want to move it 1 step closer to this barbarian archer so that we can start trying to work on taking it out, but it doesn't need to be there yet. So we'll stick 1 back so we don't take any pointless damage from the archer. Let's move on to our next turn. Okay, we've got calendar down now, that's good. And we'll start working. I don't know why that hand axe went up there, but it doesn't matter. What does the Boston grew to that iron? That's what we wanted. We'll start working that iron once Boston grows again. And we'll now go for... We're not going to be ready to build libraries yet, so we'll go for the wheel once, and then we'll go and take library tech with the writing. We're going to let these archers heal a bit before we start working this barb camp. They're going to be close to dying from a couple of spearman shots, so there's that barbarian I was worried about. So we're going to move our warrior back up there just in case we need it. We're going to keep shooting because barbarian hand axes can't move and shoot. Oh, we got taken over here. Just keep exploring. We've chopped out for this worker, so hey, we got this worker out. That was 8 turns, like 2 turns ago, so we got this worker out. So we'll send this over towards Boston now to work on happiness, and we've worked through our happiness really, really quickly here. So I guess this maybe vindicates me a bit, because we have more happiness than we previously did. And yeah, so now it's going to be 10 turns for growth. But it's actually going to be really quick for us to work through these, so I think we're actually going to let New York grow once more for them working the horses. We're going to have the happiness to support that. But Boston we might stagnate as soon as it gets to 3, not sure yet. Philadelphia grows, there's nothing good for it to work on right now, so we're going to take maximum production. Capital's not using it. This is where it would have been nice to go to the stone, but we're probably not going to be able to buy that now. Maybe it's a mistake buying the bananas, don't know, but Philadelphia's got plenty into production. It's going to get its growth in like 8 turns anyway. Yeah, well, I guess we'll go back here. We don't need to be wasting gold per turn if we don't need to. Keep shooting the hand axe. Petra's already gone. That's why we had no hope of getting Petra. Let's take Mongolia. I'm really glad we went somewhere else in the map here. We might be next to the most peaceful civ in the game. I guess we'll actually chop this forest before moving down. We might as well chop while we're in it. We're growing in the cap again, but we'll keep working the food now. Actually, why bother? It's 9 turns. We'll work the hammers. And then we'll crank out a granary straight away. And then we'll get our growth going. Okay, so we got this now. We'll take writing tech. It's turn 38, so it's about time to go get writing tech. We want it turn 38 because we'll have it done by turn, say, 41. It might take us 10 or 15 turns to build our library, so that takes us to turn 56. Then a turn to National College takes us to turn 66, so that's why we're getting library now. So we can make sure to start on the library ASAP. This is a better tile to work now, so we're going to work that. Just keep the warrior in there. This worker can stay with our cap and really start powering our capital up. Now, we need growth. Again, growth is not that efficient until we get our tradition aqueducts down. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our duplicate copper online, so we can trade it for more happiness. Again, we'll shoot. We still can't. These hand axes, they're being so totally stupid there. Barbarians for Lake Victoria. Wow, that's nice. You'd have wars over that in multiplayer. Philadelphia's got marble. Yay, build wonders. Petra, already gone. We'll keep taking that out. What's good about Jerusalem is if we take that camp, we'll probably get some allies with them. We'll certainly get a lot of bonuses. And so we're going to move in position to take this camp out now. We're going to move the scout closer, so that we're right next to it. Now, we've grown here. That's good. We'll lock down this iron. We're going to get the sheep next in 2 turns, so I guess we'll wait for the sheep before stagnating. We'll grow in 7 turns anyway, so that'll be perfectly fine. And we're going to get... Granary gives us 2 food as well as the 2 food from it, so we will go for the granary here before the watermill. We're working maximal production. Probably don't need that. That's maximal production. That's 3 to... Oh no, we did need the 2. Oh well, we could do this. But it's still 3 turns on the granary, so I won't worry about it. We'll finish this chop. Work through that granary fast to finish this chop. Wow, that's really fast. That's insane. You know what? We can probably crank 1 more worker out here as well. Maybe actually, because we're doing this. Yeah, I don't have any more food to work. I mean, that's 8 turns. That's 6. No, it's barely any different. We'll see about the worker. But the city's going to be growing like a steam train. Nah, mate. Okay, in Philadelphia, unfortunately we don't have these sheep now, so we're going to have to move back and improve some food first. I'll explain why food is actually not... why we're not going to work food in the early game, or at least not improve it with our workers. Oh, here we go. We can take the camp out now, so we can kill this barb. That should be bonus points for Jerusalem. Oh, I thought it was. I guess not. And then we can take that out. Clear the camp. Yay, 50. So that's good. That's plenty of faith per turn from Jerusalem here. If the AIs don't concentrate on religion, we might actually luck our way to one. Unfortunately, Ive doesn't want this camp cleared, but it does have Ive's worker. Okay, we'll start working on hammers now. And we'll... I guess we'll actually chop out this forest too in Boston before we move on. Why not? We've got control over our lands now. What's quite nice is that this is the only barb camp that will really terrorise us now. We're going to be killing these barbs fast enough that these barbs won't terrorise our lands. This is the only barb that can terrorise us, and it looks like it's going towards Constantinople. Can even get 5th ring citrus out here. That'll be good eventually. Okay, a barbarian archer spawned, but this one is not under threat from the archer, so we're going to keep shooting this hand axe. What's quite nice about this is that if a barbarian camp is left vulnerable to be taken, if a barbarian camp is here and it could attack me, it's actually going to move into the camp instead. Which sheep did we grow to this one? Well, we'll grow 1 more time before we deal with that. Let's move on, get some more scouting done. We can't do the sheep, so we'll go and improve this farm. You'll notice I'm improving a lot of production tiles in early game. Finally landed elite. Okay, now our capital can grow. Yeah, you notice I'm improving a lot of production with my workers in the early game, as opposed to improving food. And that's again because of the idea that growth is just so much more efficient when you get to aqueducts, when you get to plus 15% growth from finishing tradition. You don't need to grow this early. And it's actually really tough to go from pop 5 to pop 6. So, you know, we'll make our way to pop 5, and that's good. We'll get to pop 5 or pop 4 or something. But again, growth is so efficient then, and what doing this, focusing on improving production with your workers allows you to do, it gets your granaries done faster, it gets your libraries done faster, it gets your cities ahead of the building queue. And, you know, especially if you're on Deity, you'll find yourself all the time, you're like, man, I've got a list of 9 things I want to build, I can't build any of them. This is a kind of a dirty secret of a good player's Bible of how to get good at Civ, and it's this right here in the early game. Focusing on improving your production, working production early, stagnating your cities on 3 or 4 pop to the maximum of what makes sense given the city's sort of tile yield. It allows you to get ahead of your building queue. It allows you to get temples early, markets early, amphitheatres early, opera houses early, guilds out, production queue ahead, it gives you room to build units, which means that you're not sitting there like, man, how does this guy afford to build 5 composite bowmen even though he's on turn 90? It's because of this. It's getting ahead of your building queue. Getting the granary out faster is super useful. It's really important. It gets you ahead of your building queue. You absolutely want to do it. I don't know why we became friends with Ife here. No idea whatsoever. Don't know what quest we completed, but we completed one. We'll take it. That means that, I guess if we clear this camp, we can get allies with them, so we'll go clear it next. But we got our units are doing other things right now. We're going to take philosophy now. We're going to have our libraries done sometime soon, so we go straight to philosophy. And you never know, if we've got time, we might actually build Oracle. Oracle is the one wonder that the AIs do not prioritize in the early game. So we could justify going Oracle here. I would move the scout out to go meet the rest of the world, but we need to make sure no more barbs spawn in this area. So I'm actually going to leave the scout here. I'm even going to probably move it up to this tile just to block from barbs from spawning in too many places around the whales. Yeah, we don't really lose too much vision. I'm going to shoot the hand axe one more time here. That's because we're taking it from the archer, but the next turn I can shoot the hand axe. The archer will have to go back into the camp. That'll give us more time shooting. And we'll start moving our archers over now. Looks like this isn't going to be a problem. So I'm actually going to move this warrior over here to see if we can get a kind of an opportunistic kill on this in order to ally with Ife. I guess it'll fix our alliances with Quebec City. And we'll use the second archer over here to finally take out this camp. Usually need 2 units to take out a barb camp, which is why that one archer's not going to get it done, but 2 will. We'll build our watermill now. Extra hammers is good. And we'll get to work on the library. No sense delaying it anymore. Man, this city is growing like an absolute steam train now. We've got extra from the bananas, extra on the deer. That's great. We'll chop this out. Brings this granary down even more. This city, this is going to get its library done in fine time too. Looks like we'll actually be quite relatively well synced up and library's done in good time. Which is what we really wanted to get from the start of this game. We'll move over here. We'll take this out now. We did take our shot, but we've emptied this barb camp. Which means that next turn the archer should go back into the camp to protect the worker as opposed to being out and about or trying to take me out. Good. And we've got another Lux online now, but we can't trade it with AI right now. Now some people, and it depends on who you are, some people like to trade this for gold. Some people like to keep hold of the Lux. I like to keep hold of the Lux, and it's because as soon as one of these AIs gets a unique Lux, I want to take it. Deity AI trade their Luxes away so quickly. I want to take any duplicates they come down with. So I'm going to stick around for that. Now we're going to cross the river here. That's going to use all our movement. And we need to work on getting this cocoa online. It's going to take ages to get online because we've got to chop jungle first. So we're going to focus on that. And here's William. How we meet Shaka first here, I don't know. He must be right there. But anyway, we'll do that. This farm will be done soon. Yeah, it's a shame we have to improve. Yeah, no trades yet. It's a shame we have to improve the food here because I would have liked to have improved another production tile. But we're going to expand to this stone soon. Now we just need to kind of get a view of the land. And this worker will chop because chopping is going to get some stuff done faster. And then we're going to work on getting probably these horses online. I'm moving this worker around here because I do actually want to start taking down this barb. Wow. That's bad. Archer might die. If it doesn't, we'll get it back into New York. It's a bit of an error there. And see, the barb moved into the camp, so he didn't take another shot. Oh, good. Washington demands Wales. We will get you some of that, mate. Do not worry. Okay, so now we'll lock down our last horse, and now you see we're building this library really quickly. I'm not too worried about getting too ahead of the production queue here. We could still use, you know, we've got 4 workers right now. We could still use another 3, at least. So we can use New York to crank out the workers. We can also use New York to crank out... Maybe New York can crank out this settler. Maybe New York can build a caravan for Washington. There's a lot of benefits to getting New York ahead of its production queue, so we're not too worried about that. Okay, now we need to improve hammers around Washington. And in fact, we're going to radar quickly. Nothing there. And then we're going to go improve this pasture. We can get hammers from anywhere around Washington, so we'll improve this one because we know we're working it. And what's good about this is that... I might need to move here. Yeah, let's move one more. What's good about this is it actually gets me vision on a couple of tiles that I didn't have vision on already. Which means the barbs won't spawn there and get in the way of my settle later. Okay, yeah, man, I'd love to do that. 6 gold per turn is a lot of gold. But I just want to really hold out for a Lux. We've only got 1 Lux trade with AI so far. I really want to hold out for that. We finished this farm now. Excellent. It's going to get 1 more food when we get the granary. Let's with this worker. We probably don't need extra hammers. I want to save this gold for buying other tiles. It's 8 turns to get that online. We might actually be able to get an opportunistic takeout here, depending on what that spearman does. Okay, let's keep working on that. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this bucket. I don't think this production is going to become necessary to us, so we might as well just inch our way over towards this stone, because we know we want to improve that next year. We took a lot of damage here, so we'll go and heal in New York. We don't need to protect any tiles out there, so Shaka's here. How on earth did we meet Shaka first? But I'm not going to complain. Come on, AIs. I don't want to keep declining those deals. They're so lucrative. Okay, library, good. Library, 12 turns, good. Quad bazooka, okay. So we're going to move in and we can start taking out this barb camp now. Unfortunately, the city-state self-cleared that. That's a real shame. It means we can't take out that camp anymore. So let's go look what's there. We heal the archer. Man! Look at that, I moved this out of the way for no reason. We're going to lose happiness there. That's a real shame. Well, we're going to stick around. We can do something about that, I guess, eventually. We've got our granary now. We've got our tradition policy, so we're going to go full steam ahead on growth. I probably should have done this a bit sooner, but let's not worry about it. We can lock down our hammers here to get out our library in as fast as we can. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with a little bit of unhappiness, unfortunately. But actually, no, we won't, because we'll give this worker back to Ife. It hasn't improved its luck yet, but at least we'll get some faith. Damn. Wow, it didn't go for the pillage. Okay, fine, we're not going to go unhappy. That is a real stroke of luck. 7-turn growth. Yeah, 4-turn growth. I mean, we'll take 4-turn growth. Even though it's a real... I don't like giving up 3 yield, though. Let's just take the 3 yield. When we get a 3 food tile to work, we'll work the 3 food tile. It's only in 3 turns. Looks like the CS is going to lose its spear. I'm going to bring this warrior back because we're going to need it. We'll get through here now while we can. We're going to go chop another forest before we start improving those horses. Spawned a warrior, that's fine. We'll keep working on that until we can eventually take it out. Choose production. Okay, we got the watermill. We actually don't need another worker. I think we're good for workers somehow. So what I want is a caravan, and then we'll get our library up. The caravan will feed the capital. You really want to feed your capital, and the reason you want to do that is because your capital is going to be, it's usually your highest production city. It needs to be biggest. You can get, our capital is probably going to be our guild city because it's got all these river tiles. No, not a lot of our other cities have got much river tiles. You want to feed your guild city. Your capital growth there is more efficient because with monarchy you get -1 unhappiness for every 2 citizens in the capital, so it wants to be your biggest city. You want to grow it big, and it helps you compete for wonders. So we're going to build the caravan to grow our cap, and we've got granaries to feed it from, so happy days. Genghis, I didn't notice that last turn. I should have, but Genghis got a duplicate. You're going to take that straight away. We're even going to take embassies. I want to see where his cap is. He's not going to come attack us, so I don't care about giving them away. We chop 1 more forest. We're getting really good forest chop value here, and this actually demonstrates something which is not, you might not notice as a new player, but forest chops are production. You get 13 production from chopping a forest in your borders, and some sort of decreasing amount for chopping forests outside your borders there. And the barbers went for this now. It's a good job we just got that deal with Genghis. This becomes good. That's quite nice and effective to go for. Forest chops give you 13 production when they're within your borders and a decreasing amount outside your borders. 13 production, right? If I work this is 2 production per turn. That means I need to work the horses for 7 turns before I get the equivalent production. So if you've got a low production city but it's got loads of forest around, you can really get it ahead of its building queue by chopping forests, and it doesn't need to work production, which is really good. That's why I've been chopping forests instead of improving the horses, because this will get me 8 hammers. This will get me only 8 hammers over 8 turns for improving it, so I can afford to go for it first. The immediate hammers will give me much more benefit, and it's really accelerating this city forward. Yeah, we got pillaged now. But that's alright, because we've got happiness to sustain it. And in 3 turns, we'll get our cocoa online anyway. So we're not too worried. Can even shoot this warrior here, that's good. Yeah, 4 turns for cocoa. Okay, we can now move back. We'll drop a turn into a farm. We want to go and improve this deer next, because putting a camp here improves its production. But if we move just straight there, it'll take up our 2 movement, where this also takes up our 2 movement. What that means is next turn we can get 1 turn into a farm here. That's going to be useful at some point. And then we can move on to here and start working on our improvement next turn. When you start doing an improvement, that takes away all of your movement, whereas moving one spot only takes away one. So if we were to move straight here and then improve, you know, we get one turn back from building a farm there. And now we can move in and take this worker. And I actually want to give it back to Ive because that's going to get us allies. So we go move mode so we don't accidentally shoot it. We'll return the unit to Ive, and now we're allies. Good. That's 73. We degrade at 1.25, so we're friends with them for a good 10 turns there. And if they get powers, we'll eventually get that too. So, well worth it. We'll move our archers back down now to take out this final barb camp that's bothering us. And we can work the food there now that we have it. Library in 8, that's fine. And in New York, we've got some time, we'll build our worker. Given that we're building our caravan and our camp, we'll build our worker and we can chop it out too. Okay, next we need to decide what we want to go for. It might be beneficial to get the caravan, but also I think a stable would be really good in this city. It'll be really good in the cap. So we'll go for stables and then we'll go take optics because we're going to need it for this city out there. The lighthouse is definitely going to be the first thing it builds. Man, pillage something else now. We're getting really pillaged. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. We'll move away. We'll be able to upgrade this stone. We'll be able to shoot down this horseman soon. I won't bother about redoing those tiles. Now we probably do want a bit of growth. That's actually still the same amount of turns, so we'll take the extra hammers here, why not? Get the oracle out faster. And we can start improving now these horses, and we'll move to... Safest trade route will eventually be New York to Washington, so we'll move this to New York. I've actually got a 5th population point now. 7 turns. Don't really need the extra hammers, so I guess we'll take growth now. Although, again, it's a bit wasteful going from 5 to 6, but we're not going to worry about it. This warrior, man, that was so pointless, this trip. Okay, so we haven't gone unhappy yet, so this is working out perfectly fine for us. And this archer's got an upgrade, we'll move in here now, I guess. And we'll start trading with... We want to make sure we can kill this first. And we'll start working this quarry, we'll reset these tiles again. Guess we'll do that. We'll send the trade route to Washington. Start growing that city big. Great Wall goes with William. You see this about not being able to get any of these wonders. It's a real shame. 2 turns, okay. So it's 4 turns on this library, 2 turns on this one, 4 turns on this one. That's good synchronization. We'll go for optics now. We need to work on our gold per turn. Our gold is really bad. Gold is going to become crucial because we're going to need to buy things to this new city. That was a really punishing hit. Horsemen are really powerful. Fear the horsemen when you're trying to deal with barbs in the early game. We'll come up here now and we can start working in this camp. Some relative safety and we'll get our happiness back. So yay us. There's no more gold for... There is gold to be worked actually. But I don't really want to work it yet. We need to go get this marble back online though. Guess that must have been the horseman that worked that up. Yeah, we need gold. We need gold fast. Hopefully when we get horses online we can sell them. Get this archer in the city. I probably should have actually kept that archer stationed up there now I think about it. And in fact I will probably send it back. We spent all this time walking it down, but it does need to go back. We're going to go chop this iron out now. Barbarian worker in there. Shame we can't do anything about it. Scout's not going to take out a barb camp on its own. Cool. We've got too much growth here too, but we'll just 9 turns, 12 turns. We'll take 9 turns. We don't really need the hammers. These are all still... Actually, I mean, that's going to let us start on the NC 1 turn sooner, so why not? We'll take the hammers for a turn. We grew in Philly. We'll work the hammers. I'm guessing that's why it's down to 1 turn, is it? Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get our NC out 1 turn faster. Happy us. I put a scout. I want to meet the world. Maybe we'll get a bit of overflow. Let's move on to our next turn. Okay, we'll keep moving the warrior around. Keep shooting the camp too. this quarry online soon. And we're gonna keep moving this archer back up. Fine, whatever. Yeah, I guess it is fine. But man, I really don't want a barb to spawn there, but they might. We don't actually need to scout past Byzantium, but I want to see what's there. So let's go send the scout that way. Okay, now we can go improve horses, or we can go improve wheat. Let's go get horses again. Follow our rule of going for production early game on tiles that we're definitely going to be working. We've got our next worker out here, so we go get those horses down. Okay, so we've got horses and we can sell them to the AI. Another cheeky trick, which you couldn't do in multiplayer, but it's perfectly fine to do in single player. You can sell each one at a time for 2 gold per turn. You notice I was selling the horses individually. That's actually due to a funny rounding error that you get in Civilization 5. Basically, if the AI is neutral towards you or friendly, a horse is worth 1.5 gold per turn to them, but that gets rounded up to 2 with rounding. So if you were to sell horses in multiples of 2, then you would only get 3 gold per turn per 2 horses. However, in fact, it's worth a bit more than 1.5, I think, which is why it rounds up. But if the civilization likes you or is neutral to you, and you sell 1 horse, you get the round up, which is 2 gold per turn. So which is why I sell them individually there. And what's great about enhanced user interface is it automatically does the 1 for 2 thing. If you're in the base game, you'll notice that it automatically does 1 for 1. So EUI is already rigged for you to be able to use that exploit. Lol, exploits. We're going to go for the National College now. We've got our worker out. We probably need happiness actually, because I think I'm going to build a circus now that we've got one. And here we're going to build our next worker. And here we get a watermill, because watermills are great, build them when available as long as you don't need something like happiness or a worker. NC is 9 turns like that, it's 8 turns like that. But I could really use the gold. Let's take the gold. The National College will come down anyway once we complete tradition. And once we grow in 5 turns, it'll come down. So I'm not going to worry too much. We did some cheesiness to get it 1 turn sooner. So we'll now use that cheesiness to kind of buy it back to take some more gold.